Back at Texas Stadium, Pat Summerall, John Madden, one more quarter to go. The Bears leading the Cowboys 24-0. Steve Pallure, the quarterback, outside to Herschel Walker, and he is cut down by Otis Wilson.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons, you talk about this Bear defense. They're #1 in the league. Last year they were so good, they're taking it all away. And the reason is they don't have any guests on that defense. They're all tacklers. They all carry their own load, whether it be the line, the linebackers, the secondary. They all tackle well in the open field.
They're all outstanding athletes. In addition to the fact that it's a very well conceived defense. Was last year, is this year.
Yeah, they got that ability to kind of zero in on you, get you in that scope and then keep you in there.
Dorsett on the move. Pallure back to throw. Flag down. Pallure has a man open. It's Tony Hill. And Hill struggling on the far sideline in the arms of Bestie Jackson. A gain of 14 if it's allowed, but there's a penalty marker down.
And that's the type of year it's been for the Cowboys. Anytime there's something is going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong for them.
Motion, number 33, second down.
On Dorsett, Tom Landry was saying yesterday, I can't remember a year. Well, we've had penalties before, but I can't remember a year when the penalties always seem to occur when we've had a big play.
And bring it back. And you remember that Giant game? They beat the Giants up there in New York where we did that game, and they were behind. They needed a score. They would get a play, and then it would come back. Then they'd get a play, and then come back. Then get a play, and then come back. That's haunted them this year.
It really has. Second down. It's not an excuse. Here's Pallure, screen pass, tapped away again by Richard Dent, who thought he should have had an interception. Wilbur Marshall out there with him, too.
But, they're playing the type of football that really goes with losing teams. They've had 7 penalties today. They've had 5 turnovers, and they've been sacked 6 times. So those things are all things that happen to losing teams, and that's the reason they lose.
That'll bring up a third down situation, 3rd and 14. And that picture will tell you the kind of year it's been here in Dallas. Not a good one. The Bears lead 24-0. Now they're showing blitz, and they're bringing a bunch. Pallure had it to Tony Hill, covered by Bestie Jackson. On the blitz was Singletary. The pass incomplete. And that'll bring up a 4th down. They got to go for it. Here comes Raphael Septien. This will be a 50-yard or thereabouts field goal attempt for him.
Well, they've been playing these Bears for a couple years, and they haven't dented that scoreboard. Probably think we'll take a shot at anything we can get. It was 44-0 last year, 24-0 now. So they want to get something up there somehow. So they bring in the kicker to do it. Who would have
50
thought?
yards with Pallure holding. Who would have thought, indeed. Line drive kick. Got there. That ball didn't get more than 12 feet off the ground. They're on the scoreboard. It's finally got a Dallas dent. Forget on Christmas Day, the Bulls against the New York Knicks. Michael Jordan in action, and he is a showcase himself and something to see. And after that, the John Hancock Sun Bowl featuring the Washington Huskies against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Right now, we're at Texas Stadium. Pat Summerall and John Madden. It's 24-3. The Bears leading Dallas. Dennis Gentry and Thomas Sanders back deep to receive Septien's kickoff, and they won't return this one. Sanders downs it in the end zone. And Tom Landry, frustrating year for him. Watch his reaction after Septien's field goal.
Looks like he's saying 2 years, but we finally got on the board.
In the last 2 meetings, the Bears have outscored the Cowboys 68-3. And I suppose that's the reason for that look.
That's no way for the pupil to treat the teacher.
Huh?
I'll tell you, his pupils are doing well this year. How many? 3 of them are in the playoffs, right? Ditka, Dan Reeves, and then Kansas City, John McAvitt.
Don't forget Raymond Berry.
Raymond Berry, 4 of them are in the play. Well, no, he's not in yet.
Not yet. This is Neil Anderson. Stopped by Michael Downs after a gain of 7.
That's the thing, I guess. If you can't go yourself and you're the teacher, you just send your best student.
Well, you give Gene Stallings some time, too, in St. Louis. He's the only one with a losing record down at the bottom.
Well, he's also the only one that's not in the playoffs. Well, we have to say Raymond Berry, the Patriots, have to play tomorrow night. And if they win tomorrow night, then they win the Eastern Division of the AFC.
Well, Stallings and the professor himself are not in the playoffs. Anderson and Calvin Thomas, the running backs. This is Neil Anderson, the Bears' #1 pick. Right side shy of the first down after a gain of only 1, stopped by Randy White. You know, you look back at the Cowboys season, we've seen them, what, 4 or 5 times? And when Randy White pulled a hamstring muscle in Denver, slowed him down, Herschel Walker, Dorsett, and Danny White all went out or got hurt in the same game at Giant Stadium. It sort of just took the heart out of the team.
Well, the heart out of the offense, and then you add to that, just getting a little old and not being as good. A new offensive system with Paul Hackett as a coordinator, and it just hasn't been their year.
Calvin Thomas for the first down for the Bears. That getting a little old seems to become a factor everywhere.
Well, it is, but I don't know that it has been with this Bear team. Of course, the Bears won the Super Bowl last year, and I really have that feeling. To me, they're still the champion. I don't know if anyone's going to come in and whip this team. I don't know. I think if you come and you're going to get these guys in the playoffs, I think you better bring all the artillery you can muster up.
I don't know that anyone, as you say, is going to whip them. Somebody might beat them, but I don't think anybody's going to whip them.
Well, I can't see too many people doing too many things to this Bear defense.
On first down, it's Anderson left side. And Anderson pokes for about 8 or 9. Stopped and tripped up by Downs. Call it 7. Now, this guy, I guess, Wayne Payton, if he ever does retire, and when he does, I guess Neil Anderson is the heir apparent.
Mike Ditka was explaining to me. He says, as a runner, he's a slasher with hard legs. I don't know exactly what hard legs mean, but, slashing and, guys bounce off him, I think.
That means he hurts you, I guess, when you tackle him.
Usually slashing things that are hard do hurt you.
Yeah. I forgot. Second down. Need about 3, and this is Calvin Thomas. He doesn't get enough. Smerrick on the stop. A gain of 2. They need about that much. Thanks, Steve. Quarterback situation with the Bears. Who knows?
Well, I think it's overrated. I really do. Yeah, I mean, I think, it'll probably be Doug Flutie, but I think that's going to be the thing they talk about all next week. I don't think Fuller is in the competition now. I think right now it's between this guy, Doug Flutie, and Mike Tomczak.
And if you voted today, or if you won on today's performance, that guy would be the starter. Tomczak, coming off the injured leg, it did not have the kind of performance that Flutie had. Hand off Thomas, and he has the first down. Gain of 5. Jim McMahon, I talked to him just before the game. Asked him, well, you can see he's in obvious pain with that brace, splint and what have you on his right shoulder. I asked him how he felt, and he said, I feel okay. I just took a couple of painkillers, and I'll be better.
I'll tell you, he doesn't look very good.
No, he doesn't.
He looks like he should still be in the hospital. I'll tell you, it was some operation. It was more than they thought it was going to be, worse than they thought it was going to be. And there's some question as to whether he'll be able to come back. I really feel he will. Just knowing the guy, he'll do whatever it takes.
Fuller for Gentry. Had the ball there. That's a good throw by Fuller. He knows he had it there. Everson Walls on the coverage, but he had that hook up with Gentry.
Yeah, he feels good about that one. He's looking over in the sideline to get the play. In fact, he walked over just like Flutie did. Walked all the way over to the sideline to get it firsthand. They don't want to feel Mike Ditka's madness, I think. So they want to get that play straight.
Who would like that? Ditka's madness.
I don't know.
His
Maybe
wrath.
His dog, yeah. His ire. Is that a word, ire?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, they don't want to feel his ire.
Boy. Second down. Fuller gives again to Anderson. Anderson left side up to about the 48. Stopped by Rohr, a gain of 3.
You know, one thing about Mike Ditka, though, he's just a coach. And, you know, we were talking to his wife last night, Diane, and she was saying he doesn't know anything. I mean, he can't fix anything, do anything. He said one time she called home, and he was fixing an electrical outlet. So he had all the electricity turned off. Picked up the phone, and he said, yeah, I'm working on the lights here. How'd you get a hold of me? I got the electricity off.
The phone is not related.
No, he thought it was. He thought if you shut the electricity off, the phone can't ring. That's my kind of guy. And he's a coach. He doesn't know, you know, these Alexander Graham Bell deals.
Who would have thought? Here's Gentry. Left side. In the Dallas territory, Ron Fellows made the stop.
Well, this has been a tough year, Dallas. Look at what the fans have to go through.
That's a fan?
Yeah, that's a fan. He got lost. The guy fell out of the joint. He's above him. Look at that right leg of kicking.
That's the same guy that was carrying the sticks.
Oh, that's a tough year. They just can't even keep themselves.
Well, another guy just fell out.
Yeah, they can't keep themselves in the stands.
It's not that exciting.
Oh, it's a tough deal here.
Clock running, 7:15 left in the game. Buford back to kick. Banks, let it bounce and roll, and the Bears are down it, and this one will stand. It's Sean Gale down there to knock it down. 42-yard punt. The Bears will down it inside the Dallas 5. They lead 24-3. Playoff picture in the AFC, somewhat simplified. Already in the Jets, Denver, Cleveland, and Kansas City. New England and Miami tomorrow night. Patriots win, they win the AFC East. And the wild card game would be Kansas City at the New York Jets. The other scenario, Patriots lose, the Jets win the AFC East, and the wild card game would be Cincinnati at Kansas City. So all those possibilities have reduced. And Fuller overthrows Mike Sherrard. John and I will be at RFK Stadium, not there, at RFK Stadium next week for the wild card game between the Los Angeles Rams and the Redskins next Sunday, and we're not sure what time that game is yet.
Well, what that means is if the Redskins win, then they would play the Bears. The Rams win, then they would play the Giants.
Right. Fuller on a draw play to Dorsett. Out to about the 12, tripped up by Singletary. And he is the architect on the field of the Bear defense.
Look at them. The way they look, you know, they just have instincts. They don't look at one thing. Middle linebacker, the great ones see everything. I mean, they see the line in front of them, the backs, the movement. They see everything. I remember I used to ask all the great middle linebackers what they looked at, and they all said nothing. They just kind of see everything, but look at nothing specifically.
If you start thinking about specific things, then you're thinking too much, and down goes Fuller. Otis Wilson from the outside, the 7th sack of a Cowboy quarterback. 6:16 left to play. The Bears over Dallas, 24-3.
Otis Wilson's getting ready for the playoffs. Look at this. This is a record that they're going after today. The fewest points allowed in a season. So far, it's 180. And, of course, you know, unless the Cowboys score 16 points from now until the end of the game, they're going to go down in defensive history.
Saxon back in his own end zone, and Lou Barnes standing at midfield. Saxon's punt high and short. Barnes fields it. Gets away from one man, shakes another. Out of bounds by the punter Saxon and Vince Albritton. And the Bears will take over at the Cowboy 35-yard line. 5:42 left to play. 24-3 they lead.
Giving that extra effort makes winners. Be All You Can Be, sponsored by the U.S. Army. Sharing a backfield with Walter Payton doesn't always mean sharing a spotlight. But number 26, Matt Suhey, is a true team player and a key contributor to the world champion Bears. What Suhey lacks in great natural talent, he makes up for with extra effort by being a resourceful role player who perfectly complements the superstar in his backfield. Matt Suhey is the best he can be.
24-3. Bears lead the Cowboys in the fourth quarter with 5:42 remaining. Doug Flutie quarterbacked the entire first half for the Bears. Mike Tomczak came back to begin the second half, and now it's Steve Fuller at quarterback. His runners are Neil Anderson and Calvin Thomas. The offensive line has Blair, Rubin, Dorsett over on the Dallas sideline being attended to. Been a tough year for Tony. The only year other than the strike year that he will not rush for 1,000 yards since he was a junior in high school back in Pennsylvania. Ortega, the motion man. Anderson, the ball carrier. Bounces off a couple of people, stopped by Vince Albritton after a gain of 4. Eugene Lockhart also part of the hit.
You know that Jim Covert is the all-pro and number 74, the left tackle, is still in there at the end of the game. They've moved some of the other offensive linemen around, but they ran in outside him that time, and he come down, boom, on Randy White, knocked him into the middle, and created that big hole. I mean, there's some guys that are just best players, and they only know one way to play. It doesn't make any difference what the situation is, where you're going, who's winning. You just go out and play hard.
And that's what he's done from the very beginning. This is Anderson by Lockhart. Albritton also involved in the tackle. Gain of 3.
There's Covert right there. That's what a tackle looks like. You see, he's looking to the inside. Do I have a stun in here? Do I have to pick up blitz? Nope, nothing there. So I turn out in my end. See, I mean, Jeffcoat isn't playing on that same level that Covert's playing. Covert's playing at a couple notches up.
Playoff level, Super Bowl level, championship level.
And I say that whoever goes in there against this Bears, they better bring their hats and be ready.
24-3, they lead Dallas. 3rd and 3, it's Anderson. He's close. He may have it. I think he does. Randy White. Vince Albritton on the stop, but I think that Neil Anderson got enough for the first down. The leading rushing team, the Bears, have won the title again. First team to lead the NFL in rushing 4 straight seasons. Since they did it, the Bears did back in 1939. Through 42. That's amazing.
You know, they have those, that's what we were talking about earlier. They have those 2 ingredients, and that could be well enough to win them their 2nd Super Bowl. They got that leading rushing and the leading defense. And those 2 things will take you a long way.
Bears 1st and 10. They're at the Cowboy 25. They lead 24-3. Anderson wrapped up by Randy White. Jeffcoat also there. No gain.
You know, there's another guy we talked about, Covert. Randy White's in that same mold. You know, a guy that's down, bad year for the Cowboys, not one of his best year, no Pro Bowl, but he only knows one way to play. I mean, you go out, you put on that gear, strap that helmet on, and you just play as hard as you can. That's simple.
He's always done it, whether it be fishing or football. I want to do as well as I can. That's the way it should be done. Fuller. Picked off by Fellows. Intended for Lou Barnes. Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas, the home of the Cowboys. The Bears making it an unpleasant home. Lead 24-3. We're in the fourth quarter with 2.5 minutes left to play. The game summary: Peyton scored 1 yard away as 106th career rushing touchdown to tie Jim Brown. And then Flutie had 2 touchdown passes. Coming up next here on CBS, 60 Minutes. And Sam Hall, who's now in a Nicaraguan jail after being arrested as an American spy, tells his story for the first time to Mike Wallace in a 60 Minutes exclusive. 60 Minutes coming up on CBS. Valor hands off to Robert Levette. Stopped by Ron Rivera after a gain of 2.
One thing about that, they're changing some of their defensive players, but they're keeping the fridge in there. So you aren't going to get out and rest.
We're not ready for a new appliance yet.
You better get in there. I'll tell you, he's still one of the favorite people. You know, did you see that? They had that questionnaire for high school kids. Who's the most popular active person in sports? And it was this guy.
That's the 2-minute warning. And so they'll stop. Valor heads for the sideline. 24-3. The Bears over Dallas. Here on CBS. Valor to Banks. First down, Dallas. Their own 36. Game of 19. Maurice Douglas on the stop as the Cowboys hurry up.
Oh, the fridge just ran into the umpire back there.
Just got back. Screen pass. Levette out of bounds. Stopped it. Penalty flag would stop it. Walter Payton.
Yeah, we were talking about those most popular people. They were kids in grade school from 8 to 12. 8 through 12. Look at this. William Perry was number 1. Michael Jordan, Mary Lou Retton, Larry Bird, Jim McMahon was the 5th guy. Magic Johnson, Walter Payton. So the Bears, of these top 10 sports heroes, students grade 8 through 12, the Bears had 3 of them, led in all of them by this guy here, Fridge.
First down and 5. Valor out of the spread. Rafferty still playing. Dent around the corner, and they get it out to Newsom. Newsom taken out of bounds by Al Harris. A gain of 19. Clock stopped with 1:24 remaining now. Dewerson, Singletary, Hampton all come back in.
Well, Dent started out, and he's going back in.
Here's Randy White to his right. Ed Jones. Coming up next, the NFL Today, the wrap-up show with Brent Musburger. The playoff picture is pretty well settled now, with the exception of what happens tomorrow night with the New England Patriots. Renfro and Sherrard. Both split wide right. Valor. Renfro. First down, Cowboys, the Bear 20. Richardson on his back. 1:10 left to play. Cowboys hurry up. They have all of their timeouts remaining. Mike Ditka. 14-2 after last year's great year. Pass incomplete. Intended for Banks. Covered by Vesti Jackson. When you think about what he's accomplished in the last 2 years, it really is remarkable. Those 2 back-to-back records.
Well, and then the job that he's done in building this thing and quarterbacks. He's had 4 different quarterback starts, and he's just kept this thing together. I think sometimes his temperament, is outgoing, are overshadowed or overshadow what a good coach is. And sometimes I don't think the things that he's done, the things that he's, taught, gotten people to do, put together. Sometimes they say, he yells and screams and all that and spits, but they forget how well he's coached.
His enthusiasm is contagious. Here's Valor looking at the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Sherrard. Covered by Todd Bell. Danny White got his injured hand out of the cast yesterday. He can still give those signals to the other quarterback, though. In this case, it's Steve Pallure. Following football 60 minutes. You will see, except on the West Coast, where you will see it at its regular time. Coming up next, the NFL Today, the wrap-up show with Brent Musburger. Here's a guy who had great hopes at the beginning of the year, then got hurt, Kevin Brooks. Less than a minute. Bears are going to win it. Pallure looking deep for Banks, incomplete. Covered again by Vesty Jackson. That stops the clock with 47 seconds left to play.
You know, I think that the Cowboys came in here with a pretty simple game plan that I've seen. It's run screens, run draws, and throw to the left against Vesty Jackson. They've done it all day, and that's all they've done.
And they got 3 points to show for it. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Dallas Cowboys and the National Football League is prohibited. Pallure for Renfro, who comes down with it at the 5. Richardson all over him, but Renfro with a catch, a gain of 15. And they still would like to put some more points on that scoreboard against this Bear defense.
Well, they're taking the time out there, and again, they want to end the season that way. You know, let's get one more in there for the end of this deal. It doesn't mean a lot, but
the Cowboys with 2 timeouts remaining now. As you look at some of the people who are responsible for making John Madden and I comfortable, and for making, we hope, the telecast enjoyable. I guess that's right, isn't it?
it sure is. See, they got stuff like scores and stuff, and sports and stats, and words that you don't even know they have, those guys.
2 timeouts remaining. Mike Singletary over talking to teammates.
You aren't going to see that much. A defensive huddle where the guys laughing, button heads, getting low 10s when the other team's in the 5-yard line.
Here comes Hampton back in.
They don't want him to score.
No.
They already have the scoring record. They want it by 7 left.
Pallure for the corner. Tony Hill, incomplete. Vesty Jackson again. He looks just as intense right now as he did when the game started. There's no way he can lose. That's Mike Ditka.
Well, he has to find something to be mad at. He has a shirt. That shirt, I've never seen that color before. I don't think it's a color.
Which one?
On Ditka, that shirt. I've never seen that. I think that's a different color. I mean, there's some stripes and stuff, but it's not. I wouldn't call it pink. I just think it's no color.
Let's say it's subdued. The handoff to Robert Levette, and there is absolutely nothing there. And the Cowboys call another timeout with 28 seconds remaining.
Well, you know, if I had to give a game ball out today, I would give it out to that guy, Otis Wilson. I mean, he started out going after him, and here he is still making tackles at the end going after him.
Well, I might save one for Doug Flutie.
Well, those offensive guys, they get things like Heisman trophies. I mean, defensive guys, they don't get mentioned. I mean, they get fined, they get suspended, they get this and that. They're too tough. They're this. You got to give them a game ball once in a while, something nice.
I would imagine he's got one already.
Yeah, we could just make
He's
that
a heck of a
award.
player. Yeah, you're right.
I think that this game, you know, has had, the penalties and turnovers and stuff. We're coming close to some records today, I think, Pat.
So is he.
Well, the fridge is. You notice that he got a little waddle on him. Those legs start to grow together on you.
Randy White over on the Dallas sideline. The refrigerator, Dan Hampton, Otis Wilson, all of them out of the game now. But you're right, they don't want him to score. 28 seconds remaining. Cowboys down to one timeout. Bears leading 24-3. Third down and goal from the 5. Newsom and Robert Levetta, the running back. Back with Pelor. Pelor for Renfro. And no flag. Renfro got up complaining, but there was no flag thrown. Clock stopped with 25 seconds. Fourth down it brings up. Some talk about Mike Renfro maybe not coming back, that he might retire after this year is over.
Well, I think the Cowboys feel that he has a couple more years in him, and Renfro himself said, I may not be back.
Next Sunday here on CBS will be at RFK Stadium in Washington for the Rams-Redskins wild card game. Fourth and goal from the 5. Pelor. Flags everywhere. Tony Hill covered by Vesti Jackson. Hill came down with the football. Let's see what the penalty might be.
Well, I think that's going to be against the Bears.
Pass interference. Number 24. The catch was out of bounds. First down.
Catch was out of bounds. It'll be first and goal for the Cowboys with 21 seconds remaining. And they'll bring it back to the 1.
It was that second hit there. The first one was okay. It was the second hit. Then his second foot of Hill was out of bounds. So it was the second hit of Jackson. There was a penalty. The second foot of Hill's was out of bounds.
Danny White got a new signal in there. A little left footwork.
You know, the guy right behind him is Jim Myers, who we talked about earlier. 25 years as an assistant with the Cowboys. This is his last game. He's retiring.
Levetta and Newsom. Pelor fakes. Going to try to scramble, and he's in. But again, a penalty marker down. Pelor got in with 15 seconds to go, but I think they're going to bring it back.
They are. It's going to be holding against the Cowboys. It was Al Harris they were holding.
Number 62. First down.
Holding against Dallas.
That was Brian Baldinger. He was playing the tight end in short yardage. Number 90 was Al Harris of the Bears, and Baldinger just grabbed him as they got around him. Sure, we'll see it. See the end man in the line of scrimmage right here, 62. He's going to block 90. See him grab him there? Now watch him. He's not done yet. Grab, 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 grab. Then he pulls him down. See right there? He pulled him down. And then Pelor got inside. But that was an all-pro hold by Baldinger.
So they bring it back. First and goal back at the 11. Here's Pelor looking in the end zone, firing to Renfro, and he got the touchdown. And Dallas has finally scored against Chicago. Finally got the ball to the end zone. With 9 seconds remaining. Touchdown pass from Pelor to Renfro.
Well, maybe they just had to get it back there so that he could roll out. We see Pelor rolling out and making the throw here to the end zone. Renfro wanted that one earlier, didn't get it, thought it was a penalty on the Bears. Then he came back and got his touchdown.
Septi in for the extra point with Pelor holding. Extra point good. It is 24-10 with 9 seconds to go. The Bears over Dallas by 14.
You know, the Cowboys ended up with a score here, and I'm sure that's not the type of game that Tom Landry wanted. It's not the type of ending that he wanted. Of course, it's not the year that he wanted. Kind of a poor ending to a poor year and a very sloppy game. You know, we've had 11 turnovers in this game, and that's a season record. That's more turnovers than any game in the NFL this season.
Cowboys also had 8 penalties, and they've given up 7 sacks in addition to those turnovers. So, no, that's not very pretty.
And for the Cowboys, of course, they're going home. They think about it whole offseason. For the Bears, that's one thing that they want to eliminate, and they have 2 weeks to do it now.
Coming up next, the NFL Today, the wrap-up show with Brent Musburger, so stick around. The playoff picture in the NFC settled. In the AFC, still a couple of possibilities. That will all be clarified, I'm sure, on the wrap-up show.
Well, it really can't be clarified till tomorrow night.
That's
because
true.
The Patriots still have to, if the Patriots win, they win the division. If they lose, they're 88 and out the gate.
Willie Galt standing back deep. They're looking for an onside kick. They're going to get that, I'm sure. Everybody from Dallas is over on the left. Ball did go 10 yards. There was a collision. Dave Durison, I believe, came up with a football. And that should do it. 9 seconds remaining. Cowboys with 1 timeout left. But there's nothing to do now but go to the prom.
Thanks, Papa.
That's for Jim Myers. Thanks for the memories.
That's his wife. And I'll tell you, a wife, you talk about the things that an assistant coach does, but a wife has to be a saint, a wife of a coach, because he's gone all the time. For 25 years, Jim Myers has been in the pits and really given this Cowboy team everything he's had. And now it's his last game. They gave him a Rolex watch yesterday, and
The whole team.
the whole team did. He has the rest of his life.
And that's the end of it. And there's Jim Myers, and thank you. And for John Madden, this is Pat Summerall saying so long from Texas Stadium, where the final score was the Bears 24, the Dallas Cowboys 10. Don't forget, coming up next on the NFL Today, the wrap-up show with Brent Musburger. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
That's 6 ticks of the clock left. The Raiders with a chance to pull it out. They need the touchdown to try to tie the Colts, and then they would have to kick the extra point. Minnesota over New Orleans earlier today, 33-17 was the final. Atlanta beats Detroit, 20-6 was the final in that game. Kansas City charges into the playoffs, 24-19 over Pittsburgh. Cincinnati wins, and so they will await the outcome of tomorrow night's game. New England at Miami, that will determine Cincinnati's fate as far as the playoffs are concerned. If New England wins, then Kansas City will come in and play the New York Jets in the Meadowlands in the wild card game, and Cincinnati is knocked out. But if Miami wins the final, St. Louis beats Tampa Bay, and the Buccaneers will have the first draft pick in the next NFL draft. Cleveland over San Diego, 47-17. The Browns thus have the home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. They earned that, of course, last Monday night. Washington over Philadelphia, 21-14 the final. And next up for the Redskins, they will be hosting the Los Angeles Rams. That is next Sunday in the NFC wildcard game. Now it is final. The Indianapolis Colts close out the season under new coach Ron Meyer with 3 straight wins, 30-24 over the Los Angeles Raiders. So that wraps it up for this last Sunday of the regular season. 1 game still to go on Monday night, the Patriots against the Dolphins, and of course a lot still at stake for several teams. And I want to take this opportunity for all of us here at CBS Sports. We want to wish you and all of your family the warmest of Christmas and the happiest of holidays. So long, everybody.